Hey y'all, it's Margaret.
And Bradley.
With the 2020 pandemic in full swing, the world in lockdown mode, and work life in flux,
We decided to make margaritas out of the limes we were dealt. So we bought a 1973 houseboat in Minnesota with plans to boat it down the Mississippi River to our home in New Orleans.
so grab your life vest and your beverage of choice. We assure you it will be one wild ride.
Thanks for the no trim, Bernie. Let's just film that. So this is why I need a trim right here. The prop's just sitting down in the mud and the sand. This is the, when I was talking about the trim, this is the one that's bolted down. So it sits as low as it can possibly get and I can't do anything about it. So the prop is just buried in sand. If you had a trim, you trim it right up out of that sand. The prop will be able to spin, you can crank it. So right now I'm digging it out with my foot. So hopefully we can get the prop to spin and get us off this sandbar right here.
How deep is it?
I mean, it's just holding the prop. It's like, I mean, it's, the sand is built around the prop.
Oh God.
I'm sure if I have to, I may have to swim down, start digging it out with my hands here in a second.
You want the shovel?
No, it's soft. So I think this may be Hoppy's, where you can tie up to their dock right here. So it looks like they've got a little dock or something right there. And then when we said there was a restaurant or bar a quarter mile, because I asked if they had a bar or restaurant to go to, said it was about a quarter mile. I didn't realize that it was just on the hill right there. That would have been really neat to check out. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a house, but still, I think based on the mile marker and seeing a houseboat, I think this is Hoppy's. But in any event, we couldn't quite make it here. we stayed on the beach, and now we got to keep rolling, so we're not gonna do it. But I think this is it. Alright, so working with these 55-gallon drums. Originally I was going to try to do a drill pump to pump the fuel out of the barrels into the gas tanks on the boat. I was a little concerned, not sure the drill pump's really going to work. Another option was just good old-fashioned siphoning. And then I actually talked to a gentleman who brought to my attention to get an electric fuel pump. So I went to an auto parts store and I got a electric fuel pump that you would put in a vehicle. And so it's got a positive and negative lead, so I'm going to run it to the batteries off the back of the boat or the generator. It's got a DC option. The problem, these little valves are so small for the intake and outtake right here that we had to, and when you're Ubering and taking lifts around a town, you've got to make it work at one store. You can't ride all over the city. So what we've done is I've got an adapter, so the hose fitting can go to this end and fit on, and then we've got an adapter to bring it up larger to get to this end, to then go to the hose we had, to then another adapter, of which hopefully will go to a garden hose. I've got a bunch of garden hose, so that way I can run it a lot further if we've got to run it up the bank or something to a buddy's truck, especially on our lower leg. But the idea is that I can pinch all these hoses and run them into the boat, and then this one I'll run down into the 55-gallon drum here, and it will suck the fuel out of the 55-gallon drum and then pump it into the boat through this hose. So I've got a bunch of adapters, got some just basic 16 gauge wire that I'm going to put my positive and negative on to the battery to power it, and got some clamps to clamp these hoses down. So I got some clamps, so I can clamp the hoses down on here, get a good tight fit so I don't leak fuel everywhere. Don't want to do that at all. And a couple spades and stuff to put the wiring on to the battery if needed. So hopefully this will be our siphoning process, and I guess people are wondering too, this will supposedly do about 38 gallons per hour. So I've got a 55-gallon drum. This will give you an idea of what I'm working with here. It's going to take a little more than an hour to drain that and pump it. In the scheme of taking 6 weeks to get a houseboat down the Mississippi River to New Orleans, that's nothing personally. I think what I can even do is start while we're moving, if I'm meeting a fuel truck or whatever, is start siphoning it beforehand, and then if I've got a buddy going through the trouble to truck in to take his truck and fill it up and do it, then I'm sure we've got an hour time to pump this in. We can have some drinks or do something else in the interim. But that's the plan. We'll see if it works. I feel pretty good about it. Alright, so I got all my clamps in. Got everything tightened down here. This will be the outflow, this is the inflow. And so what I'll do is I'll stick the tube down in the 55-gallon drum, suck it out of the drum, and then push it into the fuel tanks of the boat. So I got it clamped on, and then I actually purchased this summer, before we even started the trip, a number of garden hoses for this reason, to be able to cut them. Right now I've got about 50 feet on this. I'll probably cut this one down probably just a 5 or so, because I don't need as much length for the close one, but I did want to keep one for 50 plus feet if I need to connect them. So if I'm running it from someone's truck up a hill, I can run it all the way down the hill. So I've got plenty of hose. I've got full-blown fuel pump. All I got to do is connect my leads and drop it in the gasoline, and we'll be going. Something else I wanted to point out. I watch all these shows when people are, stranded on an island or whenever they're doing survival stuff. And it's like, oh, if I could just find this, let me go walk around the beach. And they always come back with it. It's like, come on, there's no way that exactly what you need is just sitting on the beach. Well, I kid you not, though. I was walking down the beach this morning and I found this hose right here. It's probably a hose from a septic tank or something dirty that I don't want, but it's got a number of fittings right here that screw on and off. a number of different hoses and pieces, so I went ahead and grabbed it, because who knows, this may be exactly what I need, or needed, or what I need. I may end up using this for this whole fuel process if something cracks, splits, or doesn't fit up right. I just found this on the beach. One man's trash is another man's treasure, so who knows?
It's so gross.
We are sitting in the Kaskaskia. Wait, excuse me. We are sitting in the Kaskaskia. Hang on. Okay, so we are sitting in the Kaskaskia River Lock right here. They're going to bring us up about 17 feet. They said it's going to take probably about 40 minutes. So we are inside the lock getting lifted up just so we can get to the other side. We thought we were done with locks, but we're doing this for fuel purposes because it's supposed to be calm. Margaret's got us over here. And then as we're sitting in these locks, I've got the fuel pump running from the 55-gallon drum. So we've got the hose in there with the hose coming down. I just ran the battery wire off of the boat battery wire for now. I can hook it up to a generator or a different battery or truck battery if needed. But anyway, take a look. And now it's slow, so we ain't getting anywhere fast. This is definitely a 40-gallon an hour process, but you can see we've got gasoline pumping.
Will you tell the audience to not try this at home?
So we got gasoline pumping.
Please don't try this at home, folks.
What's that, Margaret?
Please don't try this at home.
Yeah, don't do this at home. At least not even here. But we were in a time pinch, and I didn't want to leave the fuel guy hanging who's hooking us up and taking care of us. I think we could have made it without it. Oh, I know we could have. There's no doubt on the fuel we're getting right now, but there's just no point in chancing it. Something could happen. I mean, why not take fuel when you can get it?
I hope that we are intact by this, while this entire venture is over.
Hey, people said we weren't going to be able to get down because there's no fuel services and there's no marinas. I just want to show anyone that's wanting to make this trip. I mean, of course, we got to make the trip, but at least show our process and what we're trying to do and how we're doing it. And if it works, again, well, I don't even recommend it. I'm not, I'm not even a professional, so I can't say professionals only. But, I'm sure people have their comments, but if everything works and goes right, then, whatever. Okay, so we are on the north side of the Kaskaskia Lock and Dam. So this is the Kaskaskia River, which takes you up through Illinois. What you think? Interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were fired up to tell everyone about this location and place that we discovered to get some fuel, which we still will. But if you notice, I'm about 3 feet from the dock. My props are stuck in the mud. I've gotten them out already. I've come off and come back in because we were further back. But this is when you definitely want that trim. I knew it was going to bite me on this trip as a whole when that went out on our test run and we couldn't get it fixed because that motor's bolted down. So if it sticks in the mud, it's in the mud. But as you can see, I've got my electric fuel pump running right now on a 55-gallon drum. I've got it running across the back. So we're going to go ahead and try to empty out this drum, and then we're going to wait for the fuel truck to come up. His plan's to back right up down this ramp, and then hopefully he can run his hose this far. If not, I'll roll the drum over towards him, and we'll be fueled up and ready to make it to Memphis. just an FYI, now we're hitting in the green right here.
Okay.
But we're still 12, 13 feet. But I guess the river can drop out this low or this far. Just be ready. I mean, we're still,
Okay.
I'm still reading 12 feet. I mean, it's gonna have to jump up quick because I'm still at 12 feet right here, which is really, really good sign. It's still 12 feet. So it's good and it's bad. We got to be really careful swimming. 10-2. Okay, now it's coming up. But this is, yeah, we're not getting stuck in a sandbar like this. This is perfect. This is perfect. 8, 7.5.
Watch out for this big tree that's sticking out.
Let's see, what's crazy though is we're floating that way. You would think the current would be too. Oh, you're talking about the one straight ahead? I thought you were talking about the one to the right.
No, both of them.
Yeah, well, unfortunately. Oh, we're about to hit. I guess I'll try to stick it before we hit that tree. Oh. Aha, I missed them. Got right between them.
Amazing.
Alright, so this is the Asian carp. We're going to call it a silverfin. I'd actually watched a video before I ever caught one, just out of curiosity of what these things are, can you eat them, etc. And I saw, Top Chef, they said they went through a whole process to get them renamed so that there wouldn't be a stigma. And they call them silverfins, at least from a culinary standpoint. And kind of which makes sense of what they eat, but he said, that it smells good. There's no fishy smell to it. We watched him, I guess he sauteed it, then he baked it, and then he did some fried as well. So I'm just coming down the backbone. I'm just going to fillet it out, kind of like any other kind of fish like this. And it looks like a lot of meat too. There is, interestingly, on this top fin here, there's a huge bone. I've never seen that before, so that's kind of interesting. But yeah, we're going to fillet it out, and we're going to try it out. So I got a really good fillet out of it. It is beautiful. There's the ribs straight through there and the backbone straight through here. So it's really simple to clean. And people are going to kill me to make this comment, but it doesn't look a whole lot different than a redfish. I'm starting to get ideas about a little half shell action here. At one point nobody ate redfish and they were trash fish until K-Paul came along and started dropping in that K-Paul seasoning on it. I think we got some black magic, Margaret.
Yep.
I guess I'll discuss this with Margaret real quick and see. Maybe we put one of these on the half shell. I am catching a lot of bones in here, which they said too, but they said it's easier to cook and then pull the bones than it is to try to fillet them out. I may, if this is a little spine and this is a backbone cage, maybe I can cut that out and cut the bloodline out. But so far so good. Yeah, it doesn't smell bad at all either. It's pretty cool.
Ponce, look at the handsome boy. He's uninterested by the camera, but very interested in potentially other flying carp in the water. The juices are kind of spilling. Anyway, you can open that for me.
Hey, it looks good. I know that.
Right?
What you got on here, Margaret?
So I just rinsed it off after Bradley filleted it, and then I used the.
It's on the half shell.
Yeah, so it's on the half shell, which means that it still has skin on one side. And so I just cleaned it off. I used the K-Paul's Black and Redfish Magic seasoning, which is one of my all-time favorites. And then I used ghee. I'm using ghee instead of butter on this trip because you don't have to refrigerate it. So I just drizzled ghee on top of it and then sliced some lemon did 3 slices of lemon, and then the rest of the lemon I just squeezed that out on top. Started the grill, put it on foil, and I guess we'll wait about like 15-20 minutes to see how it looks. We want it to be nice and flaky, and I like it to be a little bit crispy where the butter kind of crystallizes. And now I'm gonna go do the other fillets. We're gonna saute those with the same seasoning and ghee, but with some avocado oil as well. Okay, here we have it. We're sauteing avocado oil, ghee, K-Paul seasoning, and lemon juice. It's been about 15 minutes. Now we're gonna check the fish to make sure it's nice and flaky and delicious, and I think we're about to pull it. Wow, look at this. I think it's ready. Let's pull it. Candlelit dinner. Silverfin on the half shell. And then pan fried with broccoli. So silverfin 2 ways. That sounds like some good chef stuff right there, if you ask me.
This is amazing.
It's so good.
I mean, there's a bunch of bones you have to watch out for. But you kind of, they make these little Ys in certain areas right there. But I'm telling you, I don't think I was far off from redfish.
Yeah.
And I was joking with Margaret too. Maybe it's because I'm eating with my hands, but I was like, some of this taste reminds me of crab meat. I was like, maybe I'm eating with my hands and butter. Maybe crab tastes like my hands and butter. I don't know. This is really good though.
As long as you're okay with eating with your hands to make sure that you're not getting any of the bones. See, the bones came up like that, but they're easy to come out. It's wonderful.
I'm going to show a piece of this.
And Bradley, what's your favorite way? Do you like it on the half shell or?
I think I like it on the half shell. But they're both delicious. I don't know if this is going to catch this or not, but I mean, guys,